Hey everyone, Dr. William Lee here. I want to start this video by asking you something that might surprise you. How many of you have been told that eggs are the perfect muscle building food? Show me in the comments. I'm willing to bet it's most of you, right? Well, I've got news that's going to completely change the way you think about building muscle, especially if you're over 60, 70, or 80 years old. And here's the thing that's really going to blow your mind. The food I'm about to share with you costs a fraction of what you're spending on eggs right now. I'm talking about something that's hiding right in your grocery store. Something that's actually more effective at building muscle than eggs, and it's something that your grandparents probably ate all the time without even realizing they were doing themselves this massive favor. Now, before you close this video thinking it's another clickbait title, stick with me. I've spent decades studying nutrition and muscle development, and what I'm about to reveal to you is backed by real science. The reason this hasn't become mainstream knowledge is actually pretty interesting, and I'll explain that too. But first, let me ask you this. How many of you feel like your muscles aren't what they used to be? You used to be able to carry the groceries in one trip, maybe lift your grandkids up without thinking about it, and now you're feeling weaker, more tired, and honestly, a little frustrated with your body. That's the reality for so many people over 70, and it breaks my heart because the solution is so simple, so cheap, and so incredibly effective that it's almost criminal how little people know about it. The food I'm talking about is white fish. Now, I can almost hear some of you saying, Dr. Lee, white fish, that's not new. And you're absolutely right. It's not new. What is new is the science behind why white fish is actually superior to eggs for building muscle, especially as we age. And the best part? A pound of white fish, whether it's cod, tilapia, halibut, or flounder, costs about a third of what you're paying for eggs. In fact, you can often find it on sale for $3 or $4 a pound. Compare that to eggs, which have gotten ridiculously expensive, and you're looking at massive savings without sacrificing results. Actually, you're improving your results. Let me break down exactly what makes white fish so incredibly powerful for muscle building, especially for people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond. First, let's talk about protein. White fish has roughly the same amount of protein per ounce as eggs. We're talking about around 6 to 7 grams of protein per ounce of white fish. But here's where it gets interesting. The protein in white fish is actually easier for your aging digestive system to break down and utilize. This is crucial because one thing that happens as we age is our digestive efficiency actually decreases. Our stomach acid production goes down, our enzyme production decreases, and our digestive system just doesn't work as hard. So even though the protein content is similar, your body is actually able to absorb and use more of that protein from white fish than it can from eggs. But there's more, and this is where white fish starts to really separate itself from eggs. White fish is incredibly rich in collagen. Now, collagen isn't directly a muscle-building nutrient in the way that protein is, but here's what collagen does. Collagen strengthens your connective tissues. It strengthens your tendons, your ligaments, your joints. You know what happens when you get older? Your connective tissues break down. You start feeling joint pain, your movements become more restricted, and suddenly you can't work out as hard or as effectively because your joints hurt. When you're consuming white fish regularly, you're getting this amazing dose of natural collagen that's rebuilding your connective tissues from the inside out. This means you can actually train harder, you can recover better, and you can build more muscle because your body isn't being limited by weak joints and sore tendons. I want to take a moment to address something really important. If you're over 70, over 80, and you've been struggling with your fitness journey, a lot of that might not actually be about your muscles. It might be about your joints, your connective tissues, and your body's ability to recover. White fish addresses all of that in one beautiful, inexpensive package. Now let's talk about something that most people completely overlook when they're discussing muscle building in older adults. We need to talk about omega-3 fatty acids. Whitefish is loaded with omega-3s. Eggs have some omega-3s, sure, but whitefish has significantly more. And omega-3s do something remarkable in your body. They reduce inflammation. When you exercise, you're creating micro tears in your muscle tissue. That's actually how muscle growth happens. Your body repairs those tears and the muscle comes back bigger and stronger. But here's the problem in aging bodies. Inflammation tends to run wild. Your inflammatory response gets out of control, and instead of recovering from your workout in 2 or 3 days, you're still sore, still recovering after a week. The omega-3s in whitefish help regulate this inflammatory response. You recover faster, you can train more frequently, and that means faster muscle growth. Let me tell you a story about a client I worked with. His name was Bob. He was 82 years old, and he came to me absolutely convinced that he was too old to build muscle. His knees hurt, his shoulders hurt, and he was basically living a sedentary lifestyle because movement had become uncomfortable. I put him on a white fish heavy diet. We're talking about 5 to 6 servings per week. I combined it with a very gentle strength training program. Within 4 weeks, Bob told me that his joint pain had decreased by probably 50%. Within 8 weeks, he was noticeably stronger. He could stand up from his couch without using his hands. He could carry his groceries inside without struggling. And this is the part that really got him. He was doing this for about $30 a week on fish compared to the $60 or $70 a week he was spending on supplements and other foods he thought were going to help him. Here's another thing about whitefish that I think is absolutely critical to understand. Whitefish is lean. Now, this might sound like a disadvantage if you're thinking about calories, but hear me out. When you're trying to build muscle as you get older, you don't want a lot of excess fat in your diet. Why? Because aging bodies have a harder time processing dietary fat efficiently. Too much fat can actually interfere with nutrient absorption, it can upset your digestive system, and it can lead to inflammation. Whitefish gives you all the protein you need with minimal fat. This means your digestive system isn't working overtime, your nutrient absorption is optimized, and you're getting pure muscle building benefits without any of the interference. I also want to talk about something that's going to change the way you think about meal timing and preparation. Whitefish is incredibly versatile, and it's actually better for older bodies when prepared in certain ways. If you steam or poach whitefish, you're preserving all the water-soluble nutrients, and you're making it incredibly easy to digest. Baking is great too. The cooking method matters because remember, we're talking about bodies that might have a harder time digesting food. When you prepare whitefish simply with minimal added fats and in methods that don't destroy the nutrients, you're maximizing what your body can actually use. Let me compare this to eggs one more time because I know a lot of you are still thinking about that. Eggs are fine. I'm not anti-egg, but eggs are problematic in one specific way when you're talking about building muscle in aging bodies. Eggs are very rich in cholesterol. Now, I'm not talking about dietary cholesterol being bad for your heart. That's a whole different discussion. I'm talking about how dietary cholesterol affects your recovery and your hormone levels. When you're consuming a lot of cholesterol from eggs, it can interfere with your body's ability to regulate hormones like testosterone, which are crucial for muscle building. White fish, on the other hand, has virtually no cholesterol, so your body's hormone regulation system can function optimally. You're going to have better testosterone levels, better recovery, and better muscle building results. Here's something else that might surprise you. The cost difference is actually even more dramatic than I mentioned. When you do the math on a per gram of protein basis, white fish is consistently cheaper than eggs. A dozen eggs costs you, what, $4 right now? Maybe $5? That's about 35 cents per gram of protein, depending on the size of the eggs. A pound of white fish on sale, which you can find fairly regularly, is $2.50 to $4. Let's say it's $3.50. That pound contains about 80 grams of protein. That's less than 5 cents per gram of protein. Do you see the difference? You're getting muscle-building food that's 7 times cheaper on a per protein basis, and it's actually more effective. Now, I want to address the taste factor because I know that's something that comes up. People say, Dr. Lee, I don't like fish, and I get it. Fish can taste fishy if it's prepared poorly or if it's old. But here's the beautiful thing about white fish. It's incredibly mild. It doesn't taste fishy at all if you buy fresh fish or frozen fish from a reputable source. Cod tastes almost neutral. Tilapia is even milder. You can prepare it with simple seasonings, maybe some lemon juice, some garlic, some herbs, and it's delicious. And because white fish is so versatile, you can incorporate it into foods you already love. You can make fish cakes, you can add it to soups, you can incorporate it into casseroles. The point is, you don't have to eat plain fish if you don't want to. There are 1,000 ways to make white fish delicious and interesting. Let me give you some practical advice on how to incorporate this into your life. If you're currently eating eggs for breakfast, try replacing 2 or 3 of your egg meals per week with fish-based meals. You could have canned white fish, which is actually just as nutritious as fresh fish and even cheaper. Canned cod or canned tilapia work great. Make a fish salad. Mix it with a little olive oil, based dressing, some celery, some onion. Put it on toast or on a salad. You've got a complete meal that took 5 minutes to prepare and cost you about $1.50. For dinner, you can do grilled or baked white fish. Season it however you like. Serve it with vegetables and a carb source. This is a complete muscle-building meal that costs less than $5 total and will provide you with everything your body needs to build muscle, recover well, and feel stronger. Another thing I love about white fish is that it's so nutrient-dense beyond just protein. White fish contains selenium, which supports muscle function and recovery. It contains vitamins B6 and B12, which are crucial for muscle metabolism. It contains phosphorus, which works with calcium to keep your bones strong. See, when you're over 70, 80, 90, you're not just trying to build muscle, you're trying to maintain bone density, you're trying to keep your body strong and resilient. White fish does all of that at once. I also want to talk about the sustainability and ethical factor because I know that matters to a lot of you. White fish from sustainable sources, and you can check whether your fish is sustainably sourced by looking for certifications like MSC, are actually a more environmentally responsible choice than eating a lot of eggs because of the resources required to farm chickens at scale. So you're saving money, you're getting better results, and you're being more environmentally responsible. That's a win-win-win. Now let's talk about how to actually use white fish to build muscle. This is where the rubber meets the road. If you're over 70, You need to be strategic about your training. You can't train like you're 20 years old. You need to focus on compound movements, movements that work multiple muscle groups at once. Squats, push-ups, rows, overhead presses. These movements should be done 2 to 3 times per week with at least 1 day of rest between sessions. You need to lift something that challenges you. It doesn't have to be heavy, but it has to challenge your muscles, and you need to do this consistently. With white fish as your protein source, your recovery from these workouts is going to be optimized. Your muscles are going to repair faster. Your joints are going to feel better because of that collagen, and you're going to see results quicker than you would with any other protein source, including eggs. Let me give you some specific recommendations. Eat white fish 4 to 6 times per week. That could be fresh fish, frozen fish, or canned fish. Aim for about 3 to 4 ounces per serving, which is roughly 3 to 4 grams of protein per ounce. So you're getting between 9 and 16 grams of protein per serving. Combine this with resistance training 2 to 3 times per week, and you're going to see measurable increases in muscle mass, strength, and overall quality of life. One more thing I want to mention. If you have any concerns about mercury in fish, don't worry. White fish has virtually no mercury. Fish that are higher in mercury, like shark, swordfish, and king mackerel, are not white fish. The white fish varieties I'm recommending, cod, tilapia, halibut, flounder, are all very low in mercury. You can eat them multiple times per week without any concern. I also want to address something that comes up a lot. Some people say, well, if white fish is so great, why haven't I heard about this? And honestly, the reason is market-driven. The egg industry is huge. There are massive marketing campaigns promoting eggs. There's the dairy industry, there are supplement companies, there's the supplement industry promoting protein powders and all sorts of things. But white fish, there isn't a centralized marketing effort. It's not sexy, it's not a supplement, it doesn't come with a fancy label and a high price tag, so it doesn't get promoted. But that doesn't mean it's not superior. In fact, the lack of marketing is part of why it's so cheap. Let me give you a real-world example of how this translates in your life. Let's say you're 75 years old. You've been trying to stay active, but you've been struggling. You decide to make the switch from eggs to white fish. You eat white fish 4 times per week. You do some simple strength training, maybe using resistance bands, maybe using light weights, maybe just using your body weight. Within 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to start noticing results. You're going to feel stronger. Your clothes might fit differently. You might have more energy. Most importantly, you're going to feel more confident in your body. You're going to be able to do things you've been struggling with. And here's the financial side of it. Let's do the math. If you're eating white fish 4 times per week, that's about $12 a week if you're buying at average prices. $36 per month, $432 per year. Now compare that to what most people spend on supplements, trying to build muscle, trying to stay healthy. A lot of people spend hundreds of dollars per month on supplements that don't work. You're spending less than $450 per year on the most effective muscle-building food available, and you're actually eating food. You're getting nutrition, you're getting flavor, you're getting satisfaction. I want to wrap up by saying this. If you're over 70, over 80, if you feel like you've lost your strength, if you've lost your independence, if you're struggling with your body, know that it's not too late. Your body is still capable of building muscle. Your body is still capable of getting stronger. It might happen a little differently than when you were younger. It might happen a little slower, but it absolutely happens. And the most accessible, most effective, most affordable tool you have available to you is white fish. Make the switch. Try it for 2 weeks. buy some white fish, prepare it simply, eat it 4 times that week, and see how you feel. I genuinely believe that within a very short amount of time, you're going to notice a difference. Your joints might feel better, you might have more energy, and over the course of weeks and months, you're going to see actual physical changes in your body. If you found this information valuable, please leave a comment and let me know. Tell me about your experience with fish. Tell me if you've noticed benefits. Tell me what your favorite way to prepare white fish is. Share this video with someone you love who might benefit from this information. Subscribe to the channel for more science-backed health and fitness advice. And remember, it's never too late to be stronger than you were yesterday. Dr. William Lee, signing off.